Alrighty, we are live from Columbus, OH, and this is the Ramsey Show After Show. What he's doing well today. If you don't mind, please click on the thumbs up button. We have audio, and that's always good. That means you can hear me. You are watching this on youtube.com/coachstevemoney, and if you want to have some of my here's some of my other financial content, you can just scroll down past the Oak Island playlist and you'll see the Ramsey Show After Show playlist. Today is number 466 of those, 137 answering your financial questions streams. So well over, I would say probably 800-ish, something like that, hours of me talking about money stuff. Pretty cool. And the music playlist has 11 Ramsey adjacent songs in there, such as, with such hits as You Belong Dead Free, You Belong Dead Free, and How to Do the Baby's Dibs Right. And of course, singing not my regular job, but hopefully you will enjoy the words to those. Market report. And so down with mostly today. Dow Jones started down as well earlier this morning, but ended up being up 0.65%. And we'll get into that in just a moment. Let's see what the rest of the planet did. Mostly down in Europe. Mostly down in Asia as well. The US dollar down to the euro, down to the yen, down to the British pound, love. And it just changed. Down to the Canadian dollar, and down to the Australian dollarmite. US dollar wanted to be higher, but the Australians got together as one and said, "Nar." Futures, let's see, down more. So we'll see if something changes that in the morning, but we'll get into why it's down today. And of course, the most, we have 29th and 30th, we have Microsoft, Tesla, Meta, Visa, and Apple, and hopefully an Exxon on the 31st and reporting earnings. And so if all those or most of those are good, maybe the market can come back there. Nvidia down 16.86% today, and that's what we'll get into in just a moment. Let's see, up today, the most followed single stocks on the Google would be Apple 3.18%, Amazon 0.24%, and Meta 1.91% up. And of course, the rest of them down. Looks like the most is Alphabet. That owns the Google and the YouTube that you're listening to me on right now. So I hope they don't go under. That would not be fun. Let's do some news. And this one is sudden Fed financial crisis fears. Huge. Bitcoin and crypto price crash prediction. And basically, BlackRock's main guy says, oh no, a crypto trader, a closely watched crypto trader, has warned of a looming financial crisis that he expects to unleash fresh Federal Reserve stimulus measures. So, and again, I'm not a big fan of the Fed, and I think, if you're going to have problems like that, why not err on the side of doing too many interest rate reductions rather than not enough, which appears like that's going to be the case. And this gentleman calls for, I called it, dude. So he can say that if he's right. A $70,000 to $75,000 correction in Bitcoin and a mini financial crisis. So, and of course, he means the market as well, I think, and not just crypto for that. So, Yeah, and so the other big news, where do I have that? That's not this one, but let's go ahead and talk about this one. City fines Camping World, Camping World, Camping World, party time, excellent. $250 a day for flying a giant American flag, and the owner said, "Fine me all you want." But basically, what was there? I skimmed this earlier. What was there? What are their limits? That's a 120-foot flagpole. The city of Greenville, and this is where North Carolina. So I can understand if it was California or something like that, but this is North Carolina, and they got a problem with it. Let's see, the flag is 15 times larger than the size permitted on a non-residential property in the city. You don't have better things to do than say, well, you can't fly a flag that big. What would be the reasons for that? I don't understand. And the pole is supposed to be only 70 feet in the city. So whoever's, making up the rules and the laws for the city, maybe you start with the potholes first or something like that. But basically, so he said he wasn't going to take it down, and I guess they didn't want the publicity, bad publicity happening, and so they said, "Oh well, okay, you can do it then." So again, then why have the, make up your mind. Why have the law at all? Taxpayers leaving thousands of dollars on the table at tax time. It is coming up on the end of January, and I believe everybody should be having their W-2s by now. By the end of January, I think is the deadline for those to be having been mailed out already. What was this that he says people leaves on the table? Oh, what was it? Need to take advantage of writing off insurance premiums if they're not pre-tax. Now, some things can be, you'd have to look into it. I don't know off the top of my head. Some things can be written off even if you're not doing the itemized deductions, but you just have to make sure of those. But for most people, the standard deduction is so high now that it doesn't make sense to bother. You end up losing money if you do itemized. So you have to have a lot of stuff to write off generally to make itemized worth it. Was there something else? And this is good advice for anyone. The tax professional here says you recommend taxpayers do what she calls her 12 by 12, in which they look at their expenses for each month of the year, one at a time, over the course of a 12-day period, which she believes helps taxpayers avoid feeling overwhelmed at the last minute and forgetting things that they could have saved them money when they filed their taxes. And it's good to even look at that, your spending throughout the year, when setting up your budget or when trying to figure out why your budget's not working. It's a good idea to look at that. This is the number one company to work for in the U.S. It's been a top 10 company for top company for what did it say, 17 years. Oh, let me get to the chat. What up, Jai? That's right, nar. That's my new fixation. Nar. Oh, Australia. I don't know where these things come from, but I mean, United States sure has its share of things like that though. But it's just, how do you change no into nar? How does that happen? Regional perhaps. Some people in Australia don't talk like that though. I've heard. But anyway, the best place to, what is it? Best place to work? Number one company to work for. Okay. I don't know what the I guess they just did a survey. Bain and Company is business consulting, and they're in Baston. Pack the cat and have a yad. Speaking of people talking weird. Crew Car Wash in Fishers, Indiana. So I guess 11 and Mike and Dusty Bun, all those guys from Stranger Things can go to the Crew Car Wash. In-N-Out Burger. Irvine, California, and I think they have some of those in Texas now as well. NVIDIA, which went down a lot today, and we'll still be getting to that. Eli Lilly and Company, and that is biotech and pharmaceuticals. Microsoft, eXp Realty, and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Salt Lake City. Shout out OBS. Haven't seen her in a while. RLI, Peoria, Illinois. That's an insurance carrier. And MathWorks, software development. All right, and this is the news of the day. Stock market today, NASDAQ sinks, S&P 500 tumbles as AI fears rock tech stocks. So what this is markets have been rattled by claims by China's DeepSeek, guess that's the name of the company, that its AI assistant uses cheaper chips and less data than leading models, but performs equally well. And so you know what, before you get upset about it, you might want it to be more than claims. You might want to see proof of that, but that's not how the stock market works. The stock market works by somebody reading such claims and then freaking out. That's how it works generally. Surge in DeepSeek's popularity has spurred a scramble by investors to reassess bets that AI demand-driven growth will keep fueling gains for stocks. Okay, but the thing is, now if they can do it, then certainly American companies can do it as well. But that basically is what took all of the sectors down today. And then, what was it? The Dow Jones Industrial Average did manage to come back. Ooh, if we look at that, we could see that where it was under, opened up way under the previous close, and then touched it, and then went back down, and then went over at 4. Starting at about noon, they were fine on that one. But NASDAQ, the most down today, but still over the last year, probably going to be up higher than the S&P 500, 23.76 and 22. So it's still up higher, and has beaten NASDAQ has beaten S&P 500 for, but what is it? The 13 out of the last 15 years. So all S&P 500 people only. Or is that the only thing you invest in? You are leaving money on the table, just like those other things that are being left on the table by the in your taxes. Talk about the weather briefly. And we weren't supposed to be here in Columbus, Ohio. It was not supposed to be over, the highs every day was not supposed to be over freezing. Through like February 6th or so. But as you can see, fortunately that wasn't the case, because it's already, today it was 37, going to be 40, high of 40 on Friday, and then it doesn't go below freezing as a high ever, I don't think, again, does it? 33 is close on February 13th. And then a Friday, is it? Nope, that's a Thursday. No, so we're clear all the way to April, and hopefully, it has snowed in the big snowstorms have happened in April in Columbus. I have a short of that on my channel, as a matter of fact. All right, let's answer some questions. HB, what up? HB says roar instead of the nar. Mortgage versus invest. This is from Lakinis. I know most here will encourage the mortgage payoff, but hear me out. I think I might have done this one. On Baby Stick 6, I owe $98K on my house at 2.5% interest. I've been paying an extra $500 towards principal, okay? I auto invest for 25 per month in ETFs and mutual funds. I have about 70K in the stock market over the years. I've been taking a dividend approach, and you got to watch out with chasing dividends because that can get you less money overall. So it's great to do dividends, it's great to get dividends, but if that leaves you with less money overall, then it was a dumb thing to do. Where I pay extra mortgage while investing, I do hit my company's match and invest 15% into 401k and Roth IRA, right? And that's all you should be doing. You don't do extra investing before the house is paid off. And how you can tell that is you can just look at the baby steps. They have their own wording of them here on the Reddit, the reddit.com/r/Dave Ramsey. It's run by fans, not by Ramsey Solutions, and they have their own wording on some of these, some which is better, some which is not, but we'll look at the Ramsey edition of this. And oh, hey, look at that. That says pay off your home early. That doesn't say drag it out and invest more than 15%. Nowhere here does it say invest 15%. So you don't invest more than 15% until you are in step 7 with your house paid off. So most questions are answered by the baby steps. People just don't want them to be. Because I mean that's it right there. I know most here will encourage the mortgage payoff, but hear me out. It just the sentence could have been ended there, and you could have just said, "Oh, that's right. That is what they would say. That is what Dave says. I don't even need to type this question." But they don't do that. They type it anyway. Because they don't want to do it, and they don't want to do it Dave's way, and they want somebody to agree with them. Angel Baby Tay 777 looking for advice already. So my husband and I had twins 3 months ago. I worked part-time. Let's open this up because it's going to be more than will fit on the main page. There we go. Went in labor until worked part-time until I went into labor, worked as CNA. So full-time was way too hard on my body once I got big already. And then I had 12 weeks of maternity leave. My husband works as an equipment operator, and he only makes around 47K a year, and he's been paying for nearly everything on his own. I've only gone back to work PRN. I don't know what that is. Something registered nurse? Part-time registered nurse? I don't know. So I'm just picking up shifts when I'm able to, and these are 4 to 6 hour shifts, so I can't do the 12-hour shifts due to the lack of childcare. Unfortunately, there hasn't been many hours available to pick up. All right. We get roughly $250 to $350 each paycheck, and I pay the utilities, okay, as well as our internets. Almost debt free, and we are almost debt free, unless you are having separate finances. And should be completely debt free in the next 2 months. Great. Once I'm completely debt free, I plan to help my husband out as much as I can financially, but I also want us each to start saving money. What do you mean help your husband out financially? Again, it should be a we. You get married, you combine finances, so it's our debt. And so if he has debt too, guess what? You're still on step 2 as well. So I'm looking for more PRN work, hoping to go back to school this summer to further my education. That's fine, but no student loans. Where's that money going to come from? But what else can I do to start saving up some money? You don't do that. You don't even think about doing that until you get all your non-mortgage debt paid off. And that includes husbands as well. Is there any method that Dave has mentioned before? Yeah, you can only work. The baby steps only go as fast as your income allows it to. We keep our finance separate. Yep, obviously we know what each other has in our accounts / debts, but he pays his bills on his own and I pay mine on my own. We haven't combined yet because we recently got married and only moved together right before the babies were born. You're doing it wrong. We're looking at combining once my debt is gone. You don't need to wait for that. You don't need to wait for that. Just like you didn't have to wait for moving in together. You could do that as soon as you were married, and that should be combined. So, but there's no, if you want to know what Dave has mentioned before, he's mentioned that married couples should combine finances. So, but as far as anything, you can do anything you can to bring in more money. And so, twins, that's going to be rough. You probably don't want to have childcare, so you would probably do something when the husband is home, or do something you can do from the house, such as like maybe online type of work, some kind of like virtual assistant, or anything you can think of. Anything you can think of, but probably, and that would get you guys having the most money coming in. And then when the most money comes in, then you can do the best you can at getting through the baby steps, which would include saving that full emergency fund. But that does not happen until you pay off your non-mortgage debt, which is in step 2. Steps 1, 2, and 3, one at a time. You do not even think about doing higher steps until you get the previous one done, and then you can think about it all you want. Alrighty, car strategy. Remembered my water today. As usual, the Ramsey Show After Show brought to you by Crinkly Water Bottle. They've been with me since the beginning. Car strategy. Nar is the answer to that. I wonder, let's see, we'll find out, maybe. I'm wondering if I should buy a car or continue to repair my current one. I have no debt, but would need to save more to pay for a car in cash. Period. Sounds good to me. So what's the else is the issue here? My current car runs into nuisance issues 2014 with 100K plus miles, usually 1 to 2K for 2 years or so for repairs and maintenance. All right. It's up to, you can call time of death on a car anytime you want to. That's fine. And you put, instead of putting the money into repair, you put that money into a newer used car. Car is worth 6K per Kelly Blue Book, but not necessarily if it has a nuisance issue or one or more of them. But the idea is that if you have to replace it, you spend as little as possible, especially if you are on baby steps 1, 2, or 3. I've heard you should replace your car when the cost to repair is more than the car is worth. Sure. Like, yeah. Like if you're going to say the cost to repair it, 6K. And so guess what? If you had to pay 6K to repair it, the car is not worth 6K. So you got to be aware of that. But at what point is the cumulative cost to repair, the sum of all the nuisance issues that pile up over time, make it not worth it? So, well, nobody knows the future of what's going to break when. And as far as everything that you've had done previously on Zen and Barrett's car life, all the work that you've done previously, theoretically, that would not break again anytime soon. So that would be something you would not have to repair again. But of course, there's infinite things on a car, and I don't know anything about it. That's why I would have to rely on my mechanic to make that call. While I could save, that's right, I can't imagine dropping a significant amount of cash for a car. That's right, you don't. I'm not a car person, neither am I. And honestly, TBH, not gonna lie, don't care about driving a beater as long as it gets me from A to B. Exactly. So you can call time of death on that car as soon as you want to and sell it whatever you can get, even if it's for just enough for scrap. You can do that if you can't get more money from it, but private sale would be the best way to try to save it. And you can make that decision anytime you want to, and then you buy a cheap beater and you can work the baby steps. So a lot of times people do want to get a new car or even a newer old car that is new to them and spend way more money than they should, like $10,000 on it, and they're on baby step 2 and they want to buy a $10,000 car, even if it is with cash. That is nutty. Dad said, when we married, my husband was like that, separate bank accounts and bills too. I said no after a few years. No, no, Di, what you said was nar. Um, that was ridiculous, and we lived better after working together. Exactly, exactly. If nothing else, that's something else that makes you guys talk about something, and it's good. And some couples lose that. They don't talk as much as the years go on. Upset possible 9088 401k versus baby step progress. Sorry to start that and then go back to the other thing, but I just remembered Dave has often said that he used to, or I mean probably still does, but he used to constantly say that people would come up to him and they would say, you saved our marriage. And it was just because they combined their finances and they worked on it together. And so that made them closer. 401k versus baby step progress. And that's a NAR again. I don't know. Let's look at them again. Make sure step 4 didn't go right next to step 2 as due at the same time. Or in front of step 2 even. No, it's still here where number 4 goes in numerical order. Steps 1, 2, and 3, one at a time without thinking about higher steps, including investing. I don't give a darn if there's a match. That's a no. No, you screwed up by taking out the debt. And so now you got to fix that before you can do investing. If you'd like to follow Dave's advice, if you don't like his advice, you don't have to. And congratulations, that makes you very normal because you don't want to sacrifice anything. Let's see. Open it. Not that long. Oh, we got the teal deer. Too long didn't read. I have the money in a 401k to pay off all debt except mortgage and car loan. Okay, but that's a no because Dave does not say to take money out of a 401k. There's too much in penalties to do that. So that's a no. You would not do that. I'm getting rid of the car either way. Keep 401k and snowball. Yes. You do not pull that out. If you have any other type of savings or any other type of like a brokerage account that is not retirement specific, and so there wouldn't be any penalties, you can take it out at any time. You take all of that. If you have savings above $1,000, you use all but $1,000 of savings. Because, and again, the baby steps has the answer on that one. Save $1,000 as fast as possible, and then it says pay off debt from smallest to largest. There's nothing in here that says, oh, keep saving and add to the $1,000. Nothing says to do that. Let's see. I've been told pulling the 401k is a good idea. It's not. Probably those people would also think that 401k loans are a good idea. But if you listen to Mr. Ramsey about that, and we'll have to teach him how to say a good Tennessee version of NAR would be good to hear. Just want some more confirmation. I'm very nervous as I just want to be done with these monthly payments that never end. But I also don't want to work until I'm 70, right? So you're going to do both. You're going to do your second, the first thing actually, that you thought of, getting rid of the car either way, so selling the car, and that takes care of those payments. And then you're keeping the 401k because that's dumb to take out because the penalties are too much to do that. It's a retirement account and they give you tax advantage. But the condition of that tax advantage is that you do not take it out and you actually use it for retirement when you get that old. And do the snowball, right? And so while you're doing the snowball, you would be you would be sacrificing is the word. Not today, dementia. You would be sacrificing in other areas. I just want to see if he says he has spending about $200 of my $4,000 plus month on debt. Yeah, dumb. Mortgage is literally less than 500. Okay. Now I work 40 minutes from home. Good chunk right now is heating. Okay. Well, I don't know where this person is, but in Ohio, it's getting warmer. So already. Blah, 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 blah. So yeah, I'm not seeing any extra savings here. So yeah, you just work and everything that, like that car payment, you would be putting that to the baby steps. And so yep, just work and work and work and work and work. That's what makes the baby steps go by. Boop, boop, boop. Yep, I did say nar. She is NAUWRRR. Yeah, it's fun times. So many men's. This is what HB says. So many men's. She didn't say men's. I say that. Don't want to be a team. I love that guys work together, etc. Applaud y'all. Penalties are a nar from Die. Die said, oh yeah, it made no sense for him not to want to combine money because you make the bigger check. I mean, that could be some of it too. Some men feel inferior when that happens as well, Die. So maybe that's something like that. I did find because most of the men are hiding debt or something, so it's a red flag. Yeah, when they want the money to stay separate. Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, you don't want to leave money conversations for after the marriage. That's why everybody thinks I'm joking all the time, but when I say bring up Dave Ramsey on the first date, I'm not kidding. Because if being responsible with money is that important to you, then why do you want to waste time dating somebody that the relationship can't continue because they just don't respect the finances, your view of finances. Tahoe John 1217, selling house to pay debt, own pizza restaurant also. Well, I mean, could sell the business instead. If you just own it and are not running it, not working in it, I guess you could still keep it. But let's see. I currently own a pizza restaurant in Tahoe for 10 years. It was making $150,000 ish a year up until a couple years ago, Pandy, as the cost of business went up to where I'm pulling roughly $80K a year profit now pre-tax. Now, if it's $80K a year profit pre-tax, after your salary is taken out, still good, but just not as great, right? Bought a house in 2020 and have about, maybe you need to raise prices a little bit more. You don't want to gouge the customers, but if your costs are going up, I mean, you shouldn't have to make almost, almost half. You shouldn't have to go almost in half. So everybody else is raising theirs. If you haven't raised yours, you can do that, and you can see how that works. If people aren't going to pay enough for it to be worth for you to stay in business, I mean that's that's 80K. I mean that's what, $10,000? No, not even $10,000 a month. It's like $6,000 a month, something like that. Bought a house in 2020 and have about $260,000 in equity before closing costs. I owe the IRS about $30K. Well, that you need to pay that first, and have about $10K in debt on my truck. 2020 Tundra, 70K miles, 5K in high interest credit cards. Plan is to keep the truck for 10 plus years longer. The IRS debt needs to go to the beginning of the snowball. House between mortgage and utilities. Expenses vary in California. Yeah, and that's the problem. Roughly, 5K a month for the mortgage and utilities. 5K. Truck payment is $800 that the business pays, but money out of my accounts monthly. All right. People do stuff like that, nuttily having it. The business pays it, but it comes out of my account. Wondering if I should sell my house to cash in the $220K roughly in equity to pay off all of my debt and invest the remaining $175K-ish. You can. You'd have to find somewhere to. Oh, you can rent short term, saving about $2K a month from what I'm currently paying, which can be added to the investment fund to help it grow. You can do that. The problem is my monthly expenses have gotten so high with the mortgage and my income going down that I can't clear the debt, and it's starting to grow, and zero money can be saved for future investments. Yeah, the plan would be to invest all of the money until the next real estate venture presents itself. I wouldn't count on a venture presenting itself. Nothing. I don't think it's going to get, especially in California, it's not going to get cheaper. Or I open another business and continue to add to it with monthly savings. So you don't open another business with debt, though. So where's that money coming from? I'd also be moving 30 minutes away in Nevada, where the cost of living and utilities and day-to-day life is much cheaper. Not sure what to do, as I don't want to lose a house in Tahoe, but I just turned 40 years old and want to set. Where's the business at? The pizza restaurants in Tahoe as well. Are you going to sell that? Or like, are you just owning it and not working in it? And you're paying other people to work in it and run it. I want to set my financial future up for success and feel being debt-free is the best start, while also eliminating my biggest liability each month. Business is worth roughly $300,000 roughly as well. In case that matters, it just isn't making as much per year. Sorry for such a long description, but thank you for everyone for your feedback. I also take care of my 71-year-old father with cancer, and he lives with me. There's just not a lot of money left to help pay the debt and take care of him as well. Yeah, so you can't do everything all at the same time. So that's why you have to do it one at a time. You get investing out of your head until you're done with all the debt. And so, yeah, you can sell the house if you want to. You could sell the business as well. He didn't say anything about selling the business ever. He did say what it was worth, so maybe thinking about it, but he didn't ask anything about that. Your house poor. Yep. So we do that. I just want to skim through and see if the OP original poster added any extra information. Yeah, right there. Unfortunately, I've got it making as much as it possibly can over the last 2 years by maximizing every dollar spent. And with it being a tourist town, there's only so much that can be done when the town is slow and no one is here. Yep. No other revenue streams and not much potential. Yeah, so plan would be to open another business potentially to increase cash flow monthly and rebuy a house when making more money again. Thanks for taking the time to reply. Business reopening, that would be after you finish, after you sell the house and pay off the debts and stuff like that. But if you're not going to be in Tahoe, how are you going to be? I don't know how far Nevada is from Tahoe. I'm sure some of it's close to California, but I don't know where that would be at. So I would be at 30 minutes away. So, and again, if this is you paying somebody else to run it, maybe you run it. If you're not running this, what are you doing all day? Maybe just taking care of your father. I don't know what you do about that. Maybe you can't stay with him all the time. But if somebody else is running the restaurant, you go run the restaurant, or at least work in it to cut down on employee costs. And also being there every day, you might be able to see other ways to save money. And probably somebody in the chat that knows geography is going to tell me about that in just a second. Let's see the short one first. Upper drawing 9224. Ramsey trusted real estate agent. Has anyone ever used one? Yes, people have. I haven't, so I don't know. 24 comments there, so I'm sure it's just like the Smart Vista Pros. Uh, they've been vetted by the Ramsey team, but once they get out into the wild and they get those referrals, they can do whatever they want. So they can advise that you take out more of a loan, that you buy more house than Mr. Ramsey would. They can do all that stuff, which they shouldn't do because it's a Ramsey referral. And so, now, unfortunately, you do have to know enough in both situations that, oh, he's not giving Dave advice, so I need to fire him and use somebody else. HB on baby step 4 Phil. Let's skip baby step 5 only because I tell my boys to join the service for help with college. Yep, if I pay for college, it's only I would help them, and I pay child support, so it cuts into saving. 8 years to get to this, left with a lot of debt and lawyers' fees. HB was the breadwinner. Her friend said she was the cash cow, and he was bitter about her leaving. Oh, he was cheating too. Yeah. Yeah, that is very unfortunate, but you are in a much better place now. And that's all you can do. Mistakes were made. You just have to fix them. We've all made mistakes. Particular, not today dementia, particular can 7860. Sticky, that's a sticky situation. 50K loan against 401K, and this would be a NAR. Dave would not advise this, so that was dumb as crap. Oh, but I had to do this, and I had to do this, and I had to. I took out a 50K loan this year against my 401K at 9% to pay off a remodel of my house. Got a great idea. Don't remodel your house if it takes a loan. That was dumb as crap, sir or madam. Would it be best to pay 1K a month for 50 months? Is it best to pay with your income rather than doing the 401K loan, but you already did it? Secondly, I could utilize tax penalty waivers since I'm on active duty military. Yeah, I mean, the problem is you already did it. And so you just have to put it back now. So you can't undo it by taking it out of there. But you do have to put it back. Otherwise, that leads to penalties later if you don't pay it back ever. This could potentially save me money, 10%. Tax on this money would be 11K at 22% tax bracket, maybe less depending on my income. This is the 10% active duty military waiver. I'm set to retire next year. Will get $4,100 pension for the rest of my life. If I were, not if I was, if I were to take the rest of my 401K withdrawal, I could pay off the mortgage. Well, you don't want to do that until you are retired, until your retirement age, to be able to take that out without penalty. I'm only 41 years old, so I would have no debt. Then you probably can't take that yet. I don't know if there's an exception for military. I do not know. 4K pension and be able to live comfortably with a salary. Reason why I would want to pay off the house early would be to be able to live off 4K if needed. 4 or 5 months to find a job after I retire. Oh, so you're not really retiring. And why would it be 4 or 5 months after? Why do you have to wait? For career-wise, I'm a technical signal officer with many IT certs. Great. I would eventually get a job, yes, but who knows in this economy? Everybody with the in this economy, shut up. Shut up and get a darn job. Shut up and make your financials better. Shut up and get to work. You can find a job if you want them in this economy. Quit watching the news all the time. Also, I'm starting to have health issues that may take a turn to worse as I'm dealing with these issues and being able to manage it. What would you do? Edit. Would like to be a software engineer, but doing a boot camp and the Army transition program does not guarantee that you get a job at the end. True. And so does that cost money, or can you do that for free through the Army? If it's free for you to do through the Army, knock yourself out. Go ahead. But again, you already did it. So you just have to put that money back in the 401k, or there will be more penalties if you don't pay it back. So you do have to put it back. So you work more. Remodeling your house was dumb as crap if you can't pay for it in cash. You should have waited till you could pay that off in full first and then remodel it or move if you don't like it. So everybody now with the remodels. And people being dumb and changing small repairs into let's just remodel the bathroom instead of just fixing the faucet. Let's just remodel everything. Dumb as crap. HB feels like a bolt of drama. Hey, stuff happens. HB. And it doesn't sound like it's your fault, but regardless, stuff does happen, and you're out of this situation now. So you gotta, it's important to remember it. That way, you don't repeat such mistakes. But you don't want to dwell on it. For sure. What up, Sid? Finally made it. She made it. Critical term 427. What would Dave advise in this situation? Currently in baby step 2. He would advise doing baby step 2 and not whatever else you're thinking about. Let's see what that is. Household income 95K gross. Total non-mortgage debt 40K. All right, got our escrow statement from our mortgage lender, and we're upside down to the tune of 5K. Well, you got to get that back in there, so you're not putting extra to debt, because you got to put that back in there. I found out this is because I switched homeowners insurance policies and forgot to cancel my old policy, so our lender effectively paid our homeowner insurance twice. Yep, you got to remember to do all that stuff, unfortunately. I've canceled the old policy and will be refunded $2,800. Great. My question, do I put that money back in escrow or combine it along with my tax refund and throw it all at baby steps 2? No, that has to be back in there. Because you want it in there for when they pay it next time. And you don't want to forget about it and then there not be enough in there. And so that should go back in there. So you just put that refund back in there. Now the tax refund, you should throw all that at baby step 2. Any extra money you get from anywhere goes to whatever baby step you're on, and in your case 2. Option 1 lowers our mortgage payment by a couple $100 per month. But it'll still be an increase year over year thanks to higher property taxes. Yeah, there's no, you don't need to option 1 and option 2 me. I just told you what you need to do. And so being able to throw a little more this place and throw a little less that place and all that doesn't matter. What matters is you get the escrow to where it should be, and then any extra goes to the debt, and that's all you got to think about it. And the rest of this stuff here would be what we call in the business overthinking. And I say the business, I've done some overthinking in my life too, so I can recognize it. We're admittedly house poor. You're doing it. There's not a lot I can do about that right now. False. You could sell the house. You don't want to. I get that. But I mean, this is the same crap that people say, like when they say, I had to buy this, I had to. And no, nobody was holding a gun to your head. You didn't have to buy that. You didn't have to buy that. You didn't have to take out that loan. You didn't have to do that house remodel. You don't have to do any of this stuff. So the I had to or we needed to, that's the same as there's not a lot that I can do about it right now. Bull crap. Yes, you can. You can sell if you bought too much house. You can sell that house right now. Sorry. I have to find a way to make this work. No, you don't. You can sell that house. So, but you get people that lock themselves into something and they can't think about it, their situation clearly because they don't want to do anything. They don't want to sell the house. So they say it's not a lot I can do about it right now. That's bull crap. Again, option 1 and 2. I don't care about your little options. You're overthinking it. You're doing it wrong. I realize this is unsustainable long term, which is not why I'm not paying any attention to it, which is why it's bull. But selling and moving are not options right now. Yes, they are. You just don't want to do it. Stupid. And even if we did sell and move, we would likely not find a cheaper option anywhere else close. So I have to work with what I have. Again, here, what would Dave suggest? For you to do the baby steps and not do anything that you're thinking of because it's all dumb. I have to work with what, okay, so all of this is what we call justification station. You're justifying doing what you know needs to be done. And you know darn well if you're house poor, Dave would suggest that no one would do more than suggest it, but he would tell you to sell that house. Too expensive. You do not get a break on math just because you want to stay in a house that you should not have bought in the first place. That is very, very dumb. Related story, Rebel Flag 1993. Dave Ramsey ruined my life. Okay, and it could go either way when it's that title and it's going the better way. He completely ruined my life for the better. I've never noticed how many loan companies there are out there until recently. I've always saw cars, all right? Hey, Mr. Rebel Flag, you know, there's the same English language down there. I have always seen cars as cars until recently. Now I see debt when I see cars. No, see, that's a problem too. You don't need to think about it like that. Almost anything you can buy with debt, but you can also buy it with cash, and so you just don't buy it the other way. So now, if you had 3 or 4 cars sitting in the yard there, and you know probably some of them jacked up, no wheels on them, and you working on them, and oh, I'm gonna fix these up. If that was the case, that was pretty dumb of you. He completely ruined my life for the better. Thank you, Dave, and everyone at Ramsey. Baby step 4, Flare, excellent. Factor Gullible 9569. Student loans, yes, pay them off. Me and my fiance, excuse me, financee. My fiance and I would be the English. Sat down to get a full picture of our debts. You can do that while standing too. You can stand up and look at a full picture of your debts. I have about 10K at 4.5 fixed. My fiance is 54K from Sally Mae at 13% fixed and 35K at 5% fixed. These are all student loan debts. We both just graduated. We're getting married in June. Congratulations. And we'll be making about 120K post taxes. My first thought is consolidating her loans. What are the possibilities / things to look for? Any advice? Yeah, do not to do that, because that makes you think you've done something when you just moved it around. Not only does consolidation mean you just move it around, that means you also have added to the debt, because consolidating the loan isn't free. There's a fee to do that. So you're adding to the amount of debt by doing that. Just pay it off with all that, with that 120K. You don't combine finances until after you get back from the honeymoon. Assuming the honeymoon is right after the wedding. Anyway, after the wedding is when you can combine finances. And then it's our debt, and you pay it smallest to largest, just like it says for baby step 2 here. So that would be the advise. Advise is the verb, like I'm advising you to take my advice to do the baby steps in order. So $1,000 emergency fund. If you have extra savings beyond the $1,000 emergency fund, then that way you would send that to debt. I'll accept $1,000 of it until you get done with all that non-mortgage debt, and then you can have a full emergency fund after that. Junk gossip. I'm 40 and at baby step 7 need advise again. Advise is the verb. I'm advising you to take the advice. Advice is the noun. Need advice for wealth generation. I paid off my home loan, basically debt free. What do you mean basically? What do you mean basically debt free, dog? So if you're not fully debt free, guess what? You're not even out of step 2, much less in step 7, Bubba. What's up with that? I have $150K in saving account and expecting to save $110K every month. After all expenses, looking for good advice. Again, it's advice for wealth generation. So I don't know how to answer this, but I mean, basically you would just invest more. The normal person would just invest more unless you're going to open a business, or if you want to get into real estate, but you got a lot more saving to do to buy a house. I guess $150K, you could buy a cheap house in the Midwest to have as a rental. But all that's fine. On step 7, you can do whatever you want. But I would challenge you on this basically debt free. What the heck is that kind of talk? You know, and you get this with people too, and this is the problem with people, because you get this because they will actually talk themselves into or believe in their mind that, oh, their loan for X item doesn't count because of Y reason. So, you know, if debt is debt, so what this basically debt free, get out of here with that. So I wouldn't advise anything really until that's over. But I mean, everything you want to do is fine on baby step 7, but I'm doubting the step 7 part of it. Sid says, hello, hello. And I say, I don't know why you say goodbye. I say hello. HP says, thank you, coach. Embarrassing. Thank you so much. You're so amazing. Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry. I do. Oh, for always helping out. Yeah, I always, I do try to say things that are interesting from the chat. So you have to tell me if you don't want me to say it, but anybody that, you know, could see it, anybody that was watching. What up, James? Anonym Zone. Is it Amazon Flex worth it? I haven't used it. It seems like, for me, they pay $66 for 4.5 hour block, but the block of time I would have to drive 1 hour to get to. Then, yeah, a lot of those Amazon places, warehouses and stuff like that, they are as far away from you as they can get, but they're still in the same city. And then do 4 hours of driving around and then drive an hour home. Yeah, so I have SUV, so stop and go traffic in the city is going to put a dent in my gas. And then text, yes, I want to be gazelle intense, but I don't want to waste time that I don't have. Find something to do near where you live. Canic Fanatic 96. I don't know what Canic is. What to do after paying for dental school? That means you become a dentist normally, and then you would go into dental practice. And it doesn't mean you do what most dentists do, which is take out big ass loans to buy or rent a building or at least space in a building for you to be your own dentist. You can work for someone else first. Let's see. Hello, I need some help because just gonna open up the rest of it. Not that much. What would Dave do? Flair. Hello, I need some help because I'm feeling behind where I want to be for retirement. I'm looking for direction. Okay, so normally what we're going to have just to dissect the average question. So I'm feeling behind from where I want to be for retirement, but coming up here, we're going to hear about all the other things the person wants to spend money on. And I'm looking for direction. I have been following Dave's plan since I can remember and don't know what to do. Well, that doesn't make sense. So that means there's some kind of block where you just don't want to do the baby steps, or you just don't want to take what you know darn well is his advice. But let's see, maybe not. I'm debt free other than my home. I'm 28 and my wife is currently in dental school. I have a full-time job and I'm paying for her DMD. I guess that's doctor's master of dentistry. I don't know what that is. Some kind of dentistry degree, I'm sure. We have paid for the first 2 years so far, and by next month I'll have enough cash to cover the remaining 2 years. Great. That is the Ramsey advice. The money is currently in a high yield savings account. That is fine. I've basically stopped contributing to IRA and solely have been only contributing to my 401k and HSA. Okay, you should be doing 15%. But if you were trying to cash flow or save enough for the dentistry school, that is fine as well. After next month, I plan to increase my 401k contributions. We'll start Roth IRA for her. I already have one. What else should I do? She also would like to attend a pediatric residency, so likely 4 more years of single income. Well, how about one at a time? How about you get done with this dentistry thing, and then talk about doing the pediatric residency after that, and see how that goes, instead of committing to all that right now, because that's 6 more years, babe. That's a lot of time. And so you definitely don't want to go over 15% while you still have the house done. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know if you heard of the baby steps. Let's see. It says invest 15% of household income into retirement. It doesn't say to invest more than 15% anywhere here. Not seeing it. I am seeing pay off your home early though. So I would do that. And then when you're in step 7, then you can invest more at that point. So, but you don't want to be a career student, like always doing some other kind of thing. I mean, the pediatric residency, I mean, if that's more money, great. Or if that's what she'd rather do and it's not that much money. Or if that's, I mean, what is that? Does dentistry? Is that for pediatric dentistry? Or is that just regular pediatric nurse or pediatrician residency? And so that's a different thing altogether. And so if that's what you want to do, why the dentistry, other than, well, I started it and then now I changed my mind. So that's what the person needs to find out. Have a little chat with the missus and find out what they want to do with the rest of their life as far as working. Sid making chicken palm. I did this one. I want to invest 2 infant sons, but want to give them the money when appropriate. I don't want to have to give it to them at 18 years of age. And so he's talking about like a ESA or 529 plan, which is savings for college. So, I mean, you can do any kind of investment you want in a regular brokerage account and just give it to them at any time you want to. You could certainly do that, but you wouldn't do that before you were on step 7. Step 7 first, and then do that. Why debt snowball instead of paying off the debt with the highest interest rate first? This question happens all the time. Like if you are back against the wall Well, wouldn't you pay off the debt with the highest interest first? It doesn't make sense to me. Well, that's you. And the reason is because if people have to pay out the highest interest rate, oftentimes that's going to be the most amount as well. And so it's going to take you a long, 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 long time to do that. And then you're not getting the fast wins of paying off the smallest ones first. And getting the fast wins and paying off the smallest one first tend to keep people on the baby steps instead of having them give up because they're doing the highest interest rate first. And that, like I said, that often can be the highest amount of debt owed and take the longest. And so, I mean, 6 months of that, and you are only halfway through that, and then, most people are just going to give up. First Lady of AZ, Arizona. When to have the talk during dating. Again, people think I'm kidding, but I'm not. Bring up Dave Ramsey to you. Now, if you're, you're watching this, you may not be that into the Ramsey stuff. And that's fine then. And then it's not as important to you. But if following Dave's advice and in the larger big picture, doing responsible things with money and being intentional with money, if you are going to be dating someone that is not like that, then that is up to you whether that's a deal breaker or not. And so I would rather know that immediately instead of waste time dating somebody that's not going to be a thing. I mean, I get it. The younger you are, dating is just fun. But, I mean, if you're not going to be with the person long term, why wouldn't you be looking for somebody that you are going to be in a long-term relationship instead? Let's see. Hi there, 40 female, currently in baby step 3B, saving a grass for a down payment, doing it correctly, sounds like. I've been dating someone for a few months. I don't really see a desirable future with him. Why are you still dating that person then? Mainly due to his poor financial decisions and lack of ambition to do anything about it. When do you all recommend that you have the talk about financial health and goals? I honestly, to be honest, not gonna lie, think I am just putting off the inevitable. Indeed, baby step 3. I guess they didn't have baby step 3B flare, so they should get that on the subreddit. But yeah, that's up to you. Like, I mean, at 40 and you're on baby step 3B and you're calling it baby step 3B, that means you're into the Ramsey stuff at least a little bit, and you don't see a desirable future with him. So, why does there even have to be a need for a talk? I mean, you can try that and maybe he would change his ways in order to stay with you. But, that would, I don't know. I don't know if I could trust that. I mean, you can, and you could see how it goes, and you'd certainly advise him to do better things with his money, because you obviously know the right things to do, which is pay off the debt. And so, but he doesn't care about it, and so, you might just want to take that as that's just what it is. And the talk just needs to be, well, I just don't see us being together. Sorry, that's sad for sure. But you can do that. I mean, it's your life. So you get to decide whether you want to try to, quote unquote, fix him or not. But since he doesn't want to do anything about it for himself, I don't know that I would trust him do anything about it just to be with you, unless it's that you make a lot more money than he does and he gold digging, something like that. I ain't saying he's a gold digger though. Mutational falsetto. All right. Progress update. We're almost another year since my last update. My last post was at approximately $61,000 of debt. And this year I'm down to $21K. Excellent. Some things for this past year. Longer than I thought, but that's all right. Baby step 2 flare, of course, still paying off debt. Worked myself maybe too much past the point of burnout. Well, that would be the time to do that. If you're ever going to do that, would be when you're in baby step 2. Scotland was really fun, but also got COVID. Why is that doing that? Weird. Okay. Also got two. Why is that continuing to do that? Weird. Why is that doing that? Scotland. So, let's just check. Baby step 2. Pay off all debt except the house using the debt snowball. Oh, you can visit Scotland if you want. Doesn't say that there at all. Doesn't say that. So that would have been a nair. Congratulations on paying $40,000 off in a year. So good job on that. But there would be no for Scotland. And what would they say there? They would say, no, nar. I can't say that in a Scottish accent, apparently. Got COVID 2 days in 2 days in for the first time. So talk about a way to save money. Yeah, should have gone. Tried to reward myself for meeting milestones more. Not with a trip to Scotland, unless you live right next door. Maybe you can drive over. For hitting the milestones, I got a tattoo. Also got tickets to see an artist I love in concert. Okay, you're getting, you're getting a little bit too much milestoney, but I guess if it keeps you on it, I guess it's worth it. But you want to chill on that. Overtime started counting at work for my own dignity. I would just leave this where it is. Element. My overtime actually started counting at work. What do you mean? And then I got retroactively paid, okay? We switched companies at work in November, so I got like a $30K raise. Congratulations, around $123,000 a year. Great, and get overtime still, and I'm paying less for health insurance. I got paid out for vacation as part of switching companies. Great. And that's probably how we paid off $40,000 in 1 year. So you need to do better. Stuff for 2025. Let's see. I may have been a little less judicious with spending. You think so? For several events this year, mostly concerts. Oh, more than one. Also one large professional conference, all of which I've budgeted for. Well, if it was optional, you didn't have to go to the professional conference. I have been trying to learn Spanish, so I budget now for a Spanish tutor. See, the problem is with money, you cannot do everything all at once that you want to do. So you got to prioritize. And I would think, hey, look, there's baby steps to do. I would think that would be your priority. Even though I am not as intense as I was in 2024, the previous years, I do think that working every weekend and 80 plus hours a week took a mental toll on me after 4 years, and I was starting to notice it bleed into my relationships, and my overall mental health tanked around December. I feel okay right now, stepping back a little-ish. I still work over 80 hours a week, and most major holidays, but I do give myself some weekends off sometimes. I mean, if you're working 80 hours a week, you're putting the time in. So that's more intense than most people are being. So I can't be too, can't yell at you too much for that. Goal is to be done with these loans before June. Fabulous. Do that. And we'll be fine. You just want to try to limit the spending while you're doing that still, and until you get the full emergency fund. And then after that, then certainly budget all the fun stuff you want once you're on step 4. Still waffling at 40 WO. What is that? Sid? Waffling. Oh, 40 years old. The one person. Got it. Alrighty. So thanks so much for watching, guys. You're watching this on youtube.com/coachstevemoney. Just scroll down past the Oak Island playlist for the Ramsey Show Aftershow show playlist, the Answering Your Financial Questions playlist, and the music playlist. 11 Ramsey adjacent songs in there. Please listen to those. What else do we have to say? Oh, that's right. I am Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And if you've got money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me at calendly.com/coachstevemoney. You can email me about coaching or anything else on my YouTube channel, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Donations can go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney. Alternatively, Cash App, $Coach Steve Money. Alternatively, still yet again, Walmart gift card to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. That's what it says right up there. Upcoming streams, the Ramsey Show Aftershow show is weekdays, Monday through Friday, 5:25 p.m. Eastern Time. That is when the Ramsey Show leaves the YouTube, and their last hour which is 42 minutes of video, is exclusively on the Ramsey Network app. So as soon as they're off of YouTube, I start talking. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching. Please click the thumbs up, much appreciated. Subscribe and comment if you've done those things already. Thank you so very much. I think early this morning or maybe yesterday, last night, hit 1,800 subscribers, 1,800 subscribers. So thank you so much for that. And as always, make smart financial decisions every day.